Another one? What's with these guys?
Hello everyone, and of course, welcome to Red United TV. It's your boy Ivorian Spy, so we are back in again with another catch-up podcast. It's been a while because Manchester United have been playing on a Monday night. We put a hold to our normal Manchester United or regular Manchester United podcast. But another episode out today. As you are here, make sure you smash that like button, share across all social media platforms, get yourself involved in the comments as well as we discuss everything regarding Manchester United. We will dissect the game that took place against Aston Villa where Manchester United lost. And of course, some transfer rumours talk. Joshua Zirkzee is there to talk about, and Antoine Semenyo as well, in terms of the news regarding him. Also up for discussion. But first and foremost, make sure you smash that like button, share across all social media platforms, and of course, remember to become a member of Red United TV by clicking on the join button before we discuss. We'll be joined later on by Jerome during the podcast to share his insights and thoughts of the match yesterday, and of course his thoughts on Joshua Zirkzee's links to Roma, and of course anything else surrounding Manchester United. But let's get straight into it. Let me start off the show. Let's go straight into reaction. You make sure you guys watch match reaction. That's what was uploaded on YouTube yesterday after the watch along. It's one disappointing result. I'm tired. I said it before, but I'm also frustrated with Manchester United. Although there were some positive performances that took place yesterday, there's still a lot regarding Manchester United. So much work to do regarding Manchester United. But I'm not too pleased that we didn't get the 3 points, or not even the 3 points, to get a point, because I was aiming for a point. And the point would have been an amazing result for us. But it is what it is. We got Kira. What's going on as well? Smash that like button. Let's go straight into the game. Manchester United 1-2. Manchester United. Oh, what can we say about Manchester United? They let us down. It was a game against Aston Villa going away. Villa used to be a place where Manchester United will not struggle, get results, get a point, get some wins. But Aston Villa finally got their W, long-awaited dub against Manchester United at the Villa Park. And that was 2-1. 2 goals from Morgan Rogers. Similar, identical goals. Lenny Euro was cooked. Now, he got put to the sword yesterday against Morgan Rogers. Really and truly. And it was just disappointing. There was poor defending from Lenny Euro. especially the first goal that we conceded, where he should have run his opponent down the line, but he didn't. He allowed him to cut back in, and of course drift in, take a shot from, and then bend it into the top corner. Where Lemens had no chance. Manchester United did scare Aston Villa a bit during the first half, but once again, I have to say they lack taking their chances, and not taking their chances cost us so much. I'm in the middle of dinner as well, and I'm in the middle of speaking to you. I'm waiting for Jerome. He needs to hurry up so he can talk, but let's continue. As I was saying, regarding the match as well, in that first half, there was a couple of, I think, ball to hands and all that kind of stuff. In a couple of situations where you would have thought, yeah, maybe penalty. But no penalty was given for Manchester United. I would guarantee if it was against Manchester United, it would have went. Kira says, we all knew that was going to happen. They embarrassed us every week. We just wanted a point. We just wanted a point, and then we can go off. But now we've got Newcastle next. But back to the first half. Like I said before, we did do well in terms of scaring Aston Villa, getting to the opponent's faces. But once again, as I said before, not taking our chances cost us. And of course, the Bruno injury took place within the first half, while we managed to equalise after Morgan Rogers scored. And I have to say, it was a good goal. Patrick Dogu hunting down Matty Cash to get that ball off of him and then pass it straight into Matheus Cunha. Matheus Cunha finishing off deliciously well against Aston Villa, putting Manchester United back on level on tie. And of course, going into halftime 1-1, where Bruno Fernandes caught that injury just before Cunha scored. Tried to play it off, tried to walk it through, but of course got taken off in the second half at halftime. Now, let me highlight this. Our manager made the substitution. He brought on Lisandro Martinez to pull him in midfield, and the game was gone. Where I would have thought maybe you want to take off a defender like Lenny Euro that wasn't doing well and bring on another midfielder as well to play in that Bruno position. You brought on Jack Fletcher later on. I couldn't believe it. Like, why don't you bring on this? If you're going to bring on Jack Fletcher, bring on an actual midfielder that can play in the midfield with Ugarte, who was horrible. Ugarte was horrible too. M says, Ruben out. I'm sick and tired. We are all sick and tired. As you saw my caption for yesterday's match reaction, I'm tired of this shit. I am extremely tired of this shit. And yes, Ruben Amorim did play 7 defensive players at that moment as soon as Martinez came on, and was still leaking goals. And it's just a shame. It's embarrassing. The amount of players that you play in a defensive position and yet you still concede goals. You must be. My pastor must hear of this. My pastor must hear of this. Because it's embarrassing. You shouldn't be conceding goals like that when you got so many defensive players. And just the goal that we conceded in the second half, Morgan, identical goal. Lenny Euro not watching his man, not marking his man, allowing Rodgers to just drift away from him again, go and pass him, and bend it in the top corner again once again to make it 2-1. It was just frustrating to see the same goals go in. I'm still thinking about it now. It's giving me flashbacks, and I'm just not happy about this. I'm not happy about the result. But it is what it is. Some people say, yeah, we played all right. We did well. We actually put Aston Villa under pressure at times. But at what cost? To a defeat. To a bloody defeat. It's embarrassing. It's absolutely embarrassing. And I want to highlight the long throws. The long throws that Dalot did and the set pieces that Manchester United took yesterday. Martinez ate it all up. He caught everything. Everything. I saw you questioning Dalot's long throw. Why are you doing it if you're not going to throw it towards any of your players and no one's going to win in the air? And why are you taking set pieces, corners, especially the one that Cunha took that came off the pitch? Martinez ate it all up. And Manchester United are set piece kings at this moment. And yet they were unable to take advantage of those corners that they had yesterday. But it just shows how good Martinez is in set pieces. he had no problem at all. But I want to highlight the manager's substitutions. I have to highlight the substitution. It didn't make sense to bring on Martinez and put him in midfield instead of bringing on Jack Fletcher. You bring on Jack Fletcher, you bring on the young boys, the attacking players, too late to have an impact. And he should have done that early. You know, this is one of the reasons why I've had enough of this manager. He's a joke. He is an absolute joke. And of course, we'll talk about players in a bit. But Jerome is here. Big up Jerome. What are you saying, bro? It's been a while since we've had to catch up because Manchester United have occupied us on a Monday and have not produced at all, especially last week, Monday. We've had one bad week. 4-4 draw against Bournemouth and a defeat against Aston Villa. Let me get your thoughts on the Bournemouth game and also the Aston Villa game.
Yeah, big up, man. Yeah, it's been a minute still. Yeah, like you said, because we didn't qualify for Europe, we've just been on this one game a week setting. They just put us as the short straw, playing on Monday nights. One could say that it's an advantage because we're playing last and playing one game a week, but we don't seem to be benefiting from it. So yeah, that's another topic altogether. But going back to the Bournemouth game, for the neutrals, it was a very entertaining game. Obviously, an 8-goal thriller. But if you're a United fan, desperate for a win, it was hugely disappointing because we're struggling to win games at home at the moment against teams that we should be putting away quite comfortably, respectfully. So it was good to see us getting amongst the goals because last season we were struggling to score goals, but this year we're scoring goals, but we're just leaking goals. We're not seem to be creating enough team goals. A lot of the goals we're scoring are from either set pieces or mistakes from the opposition. So we've got a lot of work to do into creating our own goals from open play. But obviously on the positive note, at least we're getting more set piece goals because for the last few years we were struggling to do that. So that's the positive I can take. But there's something wrong with the setup that's affecting our ability to keep clean sheets because, as I keep saying in the group chat, we've actually got a decent defence and our goalkeeper is not too bad. He's certainly a big upgrade on Onana and Bayern there, but for some reason we're just still leaking goals galore. So that's something that we need to work on. But as I said, it was an entertaining game. Bournemouth scored some good goals, but I just don't like the way that when we take the lead, it's almost like we lose our concentration and we just allow the opposition to get onto us because Bournemouth, we were winning the game 2-1 and then in the second half, within 5 minutes, we were 3-2 down. I was like, what the heck? Like the second half only just started and we're 3-2 down. And the goals that they were scoring were just so easy. They just cut through us like a knife through butter. Like this midfield of ours is just, it's going to be the downfall of Amorim. And I've got to the point now where I'm not even watching the games properly no more because I kind of more or less know what the result's going to be. We're going to definitely concede a goal or two, that's for sure. And we're going to struggle to win convincingly. We're not winning by 2-3 clear goals. Everything's just life and death. Obviously, we beat Wolves 4-1, but respectfully, everyone's beating Wolves at the moment. They haven't won a league game yet, and they're destined for relegation.
They only got 2 points, so there's nothing surprising now of all the entire season.
Yeah, 2 points. Even Brentford went there. Brentford's away form was quite poor leading up to that game, and they went there and beat Wolves 2-0. And Wolves even missed a penalty. And that just tells you that they're struggling to score goals, let alone win games. So, but yeah, the Bournemouth game, it was disappointing for us to take the lead. Cunha was outstanding, by the way, in that game. His attacking play got his goal to make it 4-3. And then you thought, surely we could just see out the game now. We've conceded 3 goals at Old Trafford. We scored 4. In normal case, if you score 4 goals, you expect to win the game. And then in the end, it was 4-4. We actually were hanging on. We could have actually lost the game in the end if it wasn't for Lammers. He had 2 good saves in stoppage time. And I was just thinking, this manager's not going to last because if we're struggling to beat teams like Bournemouth, who I think they haven't won a game, even up to now, they ain't won a game since October. And they leak goals as well. They play an open, expansive game and they leak goals. And for us to not beat them in their current form was very disappointing. And to see them struggle at home to Burnley at the weekend just shows you that how far behind we are as a team to actually start competing at the top. We were struggling to put these teams away. And then obviously before that it was West Ham. We couldn't beat them. And then prior to that was Everton, 10-man Everton. So after that, my total enthusiasm for top four just dwindled by the day because, as I was saying in the group chat, we had Villa away, and then then we got Newcastle at homecoming. And I already said that I only see us getting 3 points against Wolves when we play them again in a few weeks. I just don't trust this team to put games to bed. And Newcastle are a tough team. But going back to the Villa game, I had to leave at half time, so I didn't even watch the second half. Well, I managed to catch up on the highlights. I couldn't give you comprehensive analysis of the second half. But the first half was decent in the first half. Our passage of play is improving, but it just seems like no matter what we do, we're always going to concede goals because of the way of the setup. As soon as I saw the midfield of Ugarte and Bruno, I just knew straight that we're not winning this game. I said the lineup looks dead. That's what I said in the group chat. It just looked dead. The back three or back five, what we were going to call it, was just young and inexperienced with Euro, Heaven, and Shaw, and then you got Dorgu and Dallo. That you just looking at just me naming that, you just know that back line is inexperienced. 100. They're still not comfortable with the system, and they're gonna just be leaking goals. And lo and behold, I have to hold Euro accountable for that first goal that we conceded because there's no way that Rodgers should be scoring from there. He almost miscontrolled the ball. He just about kept the ball in play near the corner flag, and he was allowed so much room and so much space in front of him to just run towards goal and cut in. And it was a great shot, to be fair, but he should not have been allowed that much space and freedom to run virtually from near the halfway line up to the goal side and curling the shot like that. There wasn't enough closing down from Euro, and to be fair, our whole defensive structure was nowhere to be seen as well. Like it should not have happened in that manner. And then obviously we had some good passes of play. We scored from a mistake. I can't remember who was in Villa who gave the ball away, but
Matt Cash, Dogu.
Yeah, Matt Cash made a mistake, and then Dogu capitalised on the mistake, and then the ball somehow went to Cunha, and it was a good curling finish in the far left, the goalkeeper's far left hand corner for Cunha to make it 1-1. And you're thinking, right, let's ball on this now. Go to the break at 1-1, and that's when I left. And I was just thinking, let's just hold that for a draw. Because even though it was 1-1, I didn't have any confidence that we're going to go and win the game. Although, admittedly, we actually played all right. I can't complain about the performance, but there's just something wrong mentally with this team. And obviously, I caught up on the second half highlights. And again, Rodgers was allowed enough time and space to curl in a second shot from closer range. Euro, you could argue, was at fault
too again. He wasn't watching his man.
Yeah, and his confidence is shot at the moment. And I heard some people saying that Lamine should have saved that. I think we need to stop. Looking at the keeper every time we concede goals, because there's some saves that the keeper's not expected to save. The keeper's not Superman. The keeper will try their best to save, but there's just some shots that you just expect the striker or the forward attacker player to score, and that, in my opinion, was one of them. And that was because he was allowed so much time and space to curl in another shot again. And in all honesty, I can't really remember Villa really peppering us really throughout the game. I didn't feel like we were just so bad that the game could have been like 4 or 5-0. It was just a Rodgers moment, if we're being brutally honest. And I haven't watched like Villa's full games, but I've watched some of the highlights over the last 2 months, and a lot of their goals are just long range finishes. Like they got a lot of players that like they're good at long range strikes, and I don't know if that football's sustainable. Just every minute there's wonder strikes that are winning them games, and they're winning games by their odd goal. They're not like putting teams away 3 or 4-0. But obviously it's Villa, and their manager's doing a great job. But I just felt that we didn't take advantage of the fact that Villa didn't play that well, and we should. When you look at the balance of play, we should have at least got a draw from that game. Like it's all good saying that we played well, but playing well and losing, that's not really a good characteristic. I'd rather play badly and win than play well and lose. But that's the only positive we can take. We played well, but what's the worth? What's it if we play well and lose and then play Newcastle and play badly and lose? Like it just doesn't make any difference, really. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens on Boxing Day, because we're the only team playing on Boxing Day. And it seems that every time apart from the Wolves game, every time we're the only
team that's playing on Boxing Day. Well, prime time, 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
Sky Sports know what they're doing. Yeah. They know what they're doing.
Yeah. Everyone's going to be watching, and everyone's going to be recovering, relaxing from their Christmas Day turkey or whatever they're having for Christmas dinner. And the pressure's going to be on because Newcastle are a strong team. And I just don't see us winning that game. I know it sounds a bit pessimistic, but I said from the start of the run of games in December that our only wins are going to be against Wolves. So let's see. I hope I'm wrong. I want to be wrong. But the evidence suggests that I'm probably most likely going to be right. And I'm just hoping that the club realise that what Amorim's doing is not working. We can't continue with this midfield. Every time I see this midfield, it just makes me not want to watch the games anymore. I wasn't even that enthusiastic about. I knew that Villa were going to beat us. I was just hoping for a draw. But every time I see that midfield lineup, I'm just like, you know what? This team is dead. Whatever happens in it, like that's what it is, and it just have to hope that we get through these games. But the way the team's set up, it's like it's only set up to beat the lesser sides that ain't really got that much quality, because we can get away with being run through midfield because they don't have that same quality of finishers in their team. But when you got shooters like Semenyo, and obviously you got that Newcastle striker, I can't remember his name, so I'll give him a W.
Or something like that?
Yeah, something like that, yeah. And then you got Rodgers, and these players, they're going to punish you. So it's going to be interesting, but the league's table is taking shape now. And we can't be saying, 2 points from 4th and we're only 1 point from 5th and all of this nonsense. That line's running out now, because we're like 10 points. We're 10 points off Villa and they're in 3rd. So if we lose against Newcastle, we're more than likely going to be putting page 2, and then all of that top 6, top 5, top 4 talks out the window.
100%, man. It's been one bad December for Manchester United, and towards the end of November as well, because we saw these fixtures. You saw Everton, West Ham. These were games that we should have won. And then Bournemouth at home as well, games that we should have won. The only game we've won was Wolves, and then you got Aston Villa, you got Newcastle. This manager's cooked. He's cooked. I'll be surprised if he makes it. Actually, what can I say? This is Manchester United. We take our time when it comes to sacking the manager. We wait until we are mathematically out of everything, until we pull the trigger. Yeah. We don't like to save our seasons. Not at all, man. But it was disappointing. And then you're right. All I was asking for was just a point, because we knew going to Villa, despite all of the Manchester United winning there, doing well, we were just never in form, and a point would have been great for us, you know. Especially if we beat Bournemouth, these games that we should have won, and taken this defeat against Aston Villa, we would have been in a far better position if those results previously went our way. Now we go into Newcastle, and we're there saying that we're not going to win at home because we've been struggling at Old Trafford, for the last couple of games. We haven't won in, I think, the last 3 or 4 games at Old Trafford. Just draws and nails. Everton 10, man. Bournemouth 4-4. West Ham 1-1. Do you know?
Yeah.
Like it's just poor results at Old Trafford. We're struggling home. We're struggling and away as well. It's just poor, man. And let's talk about players because I just want to highlight one player individual. I thought Aiden Heaven versus Watkins. Aiden Heaven done well. He has made his mistakes, you know, but he done extremely well to keep Ollie Watkins quiet. It's a shame that Lenny Euro couldn't keep Morgan Rogers quiet throughout because he was a bit successful at the first 20, 30 minutes of, actually, I'll say the first 20 minutes of the first half. And then as soon as Rogers scored, he was all over the place. Yeah, as you're saying, yeah, Lenny Euro ain't in the place. But yeah, let's talk about that midfield. And of course, your thoughts on Bruno being injured as well. You know, I'm sure, I know, you know my feelings, and I know your feelings on Bruno, but it was a hard one to take. I can't lie to you, bro. I can't lie to you. All the players, we don't want Bruno injured. Despite he's always available and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, he adds something to the team. But again, when Bruno was out, I'm scared of what we have in that reserves and the lack of quality of creative offensive players.
I just think with the Bruno situation, so I'm not going to go on too much because everyone knows how I feel about Bruno. But I just reckon that because he's potentially going to be injured for a little while, we might feel the effects of that because we didn't strengthen that in that midfield area in the summer. If we did and Bruno was injured, then all sold, then we wouldn't even be having this conversation. But it's because we're light in that area, it feels like we need Bruno in the starting 11. But now we're just going to be forced to have to see this as an opportunity to see how we can get our midfield more stable. Obviously, they put Martinez on in the second half, and he did a good job in that midfield. And he gave us a little snippet of how it would be if we had a proper midfielder in there alongside someone like Casemiro or Mainu. Because Bruno is not a midfielder, and he always vacates the space in midfield because he's always all over the pitch, whether that's on the right-hand side, up top, left-hand side, helping out in defence. Like, his positioning is not helping his midfield partner in this Amorim system, but Amorim doesn't seem to be able to see that we're getting run through every week and we're leaking goals because of the midfield. And we're making our defenders, for the most part, the scapegoat of all these goals that we're conceding, but it's because we're not controlling the midfield. So maybe this is an opportunity now for someone to come in and step up in that midfield and hopefully give us a bit of short-term stability, because I don't know what this club's going to be doing in January, to be honest. I keep seeing us being linked with Semenyo when our midfield's leaking, our midfield empty. So we'll have to see what happens on that. But in terms of other players, what other players did you mention?
I mentioned Aiden Heaven.
Yeah, Heaven, I reckon he had a decent game, but because he's a young player, I just knew from the starting lineup that there was bound to be a mistake from someone, whether that's been Heaven or Euro, because they're two inexperienced defenders. They've got a lot of talent and a lot of potential for the future, but playing against an informed Villa side, I was a bit worried. But Heaven, you got to give credit where credit's due, and he played well. Because there's been some other games previously that he's been a bit shaky. So you're going to have some inconsistent form, which is what you get from young players. But hopefully he can learn from this experience and grow in confidence. But obviously with Euro, his confidence is just shot at the moment. And I don't know what is being said to him, whether they're just playing him because we've got injuries to Maguire and De Ligt. Well, it just seems like he's been playing poorly for the last few games now. And maybe they're just hoping that he can play his way into form. Well, maybe it's just a system. Maybe it's just a system.
And also, you have to recognize that our back three leader is not there.
Yeah, I just
in matches to Lit, I'm talking about, because he's the one that organizes that defense, or Harry Maguire. They're just not there to help organize. I don't see it from Luke Shaw. You have two young central defenders in Heavens and Euro, and you've got Luke Shaw, who's not actually a centre back but can play in that position, but doesn't have the leadership to organise the back four or the back
He's
three.
very passive. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And he tends to fade as well in games as well. Like Luke Shaw, he needs to get sold, but no one's gonna buy him in it because of his injury record. And he's only a mainstay in the team because we're playing 1 game a week.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as it becomes 2 games a week, Luke Shaw's getting injured.
It's gonna be very interesting when Martinez is fully fit, because I expect him to be the left-sided centre back, and Matisse De Ligt as the central sided centre back, and Lenny Euro or Harry Maguire on that side, on the right hand side, or De Ligt on the right hand side, and then Maguire, because he's put Maguire as the central centre back as from what we've seen. So it's interesting to see what happens. But again, I think in that game he could have started Martinez. You know,
you could have, yeah. But I don't know. Maybe they're just trying to just bring him in slowly. I don't, because keeps having these long-term injuries. They probably just think we don't want to rush him and aggravate any.
But he's featured in the last 4 games. He's played 10 minutes, then he played 20 minutes, then he played 30 minutes, then he played 45 minutes. What's next? I expect him to be starting that Newcastle. Then
he needs to start. Yeah, he has to start
60 minutes now, because we need him in defense. We need his leadership. We need his organization. We need his experience. We can't just continue to persist with these 2 young centre backs and then they can't handle it, because Luke Shaw's not the guy that will organize that back 3 or back 4, back 5, whatever you want to call it.
I agree. Yeah, he needs to definitely start, because this Newcastle team is quite strong, especially in midfield. So they're going to need someone vocal at the back to help reassure them. And we're playing 1 game a week as well. Like, it's time now. He's
had enough time with training. He gets a whole week to train. He plays you play training matches. The guy's ready to start, man. It's just our manager, man. He just doesn't like certain players. And once again, Benjamin Sesko, and I have a bone to pick with Amarim throughout the last couple of games where he decided to play false 9 when you had Zirkzee on there. It's just disrespectful. It is disrespectful. If he's not in your plans, don't bother putting him in the squad. Like, don't do these things where you put a false 9, a Bemo up front, or Mason Mount up front, or Cunha. When you actually have a striker that's got a little bit of minute, got his first goal, build on his confidence. But you don't. You bring Sesko back. Sesko came back on Monday against Bournemouth for 20 minutes. But Jerome, he starts the following day. So you can do that for Sesko, but you can't do that for someone like Martinez. It don't make no sense.
He's not making sense at all, because I don't think he even wanted Sesko in the first place.
Well, it seems like he can't wait to rush him back and keep Zirkzee on the bench. Yeah, and another poor performance from this guy.
Yeah, so he's got something. Yeah, so it seems like another personal thing with Zirkzee, and I wouldn't be surprised if Zirkzee leaves in January. But going back to Sesko, so far, I'll be honest with you, I had high hopes for him when we signed him, but I'm not impressed with his current start to life at United so far. I'm going to give him time, the same I gave Hoyland, but he needs to step up. Maybe it's just a bit of rustiness because he's been in and out, not really starting like consistently, then getting injured. So maybe he just needs a run in the team. Maybe that's probably why Amarim's just started, because he just wants him to just get his confidence levels and stuff. But I think we don't have that luxury. We just need to pick players who we think are going to get us the results, because we're struggling for wins now, and Amarim's under huge pressure. So I'm surprised that Zirkzee it's not getting much more minutes, because at the moment I reckon he's better than Sesko at the moment. Mm-hmm. It's not saying that much, but Sesko. Zirkzee needs to. He deserves to get more game time as well, and Sesko definitely needs to improve, because some of his touches were so heavy. Mm-hmm. And he doesn't look like he's got much pace as well. And because of his tall physique, he's almost like a Peter Crouch, where he just looks a bit like, if your touch is poor and you ain't got no pace, you just look like you look out of place in the team.
It's funny because he's a quick player. From what I've seen from last season, he's always got electric play. He's got pace. But
Yeah,
for some reason, you're right. Maybe it's just confidence low. Not
yeah.
it needs
The
a
confidence, the
run in.
pressure. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's totally different level from where he was playing in Germany because when you look at the clips in Germany, he looked like he was like a mini Zlatan
Mm-hmm.
in the Hillary with his touch and his presence and stuff. But in the United shirt right now, he's just looking timid. So hopefully that changes because yeah, it's a massive shirt. That's a true saying. It's a massive, massive shirt. So, but hopefully he's getting the support. The manager's giving him a chance, and hopefully he can take that chance and build more confidence. But he's slowly realizing that there's no easy games in the Premier League, as there are in Germany, where teams can just like Bayern Munich, for example, we're just wiping teams 4-5-0 every game. Like every game is a challenge in the Premier League. So hopefully he can improve. But obviously it's his debut season, so we can't expect too much from him.
100%. Let me just get to the comments as well. Big up to MC says, bro, Ivorian, you looking stressed because of this manager. You already came in and said Ruben out. Bruno,
Not even
Kira says, bro,
surprised.
I'm stressed out. My sister told me the other day that I'm not getting enough sleep. And I said, how can I sleep with United in such poor form? Kira also said he betted on Transambar, who are third in Turkey, and forgot Onana as their keeper. He conceded 4 to the 16th place in the team and lost today. Lost. Did Cameroon play today? No. No. Oh, because I know Onana didn't get
Oh, he
selected,
didn't get picked for Cameroon, did he?
which I'm disappointed in because he happens to be in the
Yeah.
Ivory Coast's group. That could have been an easy goals for us to score
Yeah.
against Onana. I have zero belief in Bruno, but the man could have got a second shot off before getting hurt. Yes, and let's move it on from the game and move straight on to Joshua Zirkzee. Yesterday, Fabrizio Romano tweeted that Roma are in advanced talks with Manchester United. Not Manchester United, with Joshua Zirkzee and his representative. But of course, the deal depends on Manchester United whether they're willing to let him go. I don't know what the costs are, but it's a loan with I think what last time I read was like a good amount of 8 to 11 million loan plus an option to sign him. But I know Manchester United probably want to get rid of him for about roughly 40 million to make it permanent. And I know they probably want to put that mandatory fee there to get that money. Your thoughts on this, Joshua Zirkzee? We knew it was coming. We've heard it before. We've heard the links with Roma. Roma has been interested in X, Y, and Z. And not long ago, Zirkzee said he's willing to fight for his future at Manchester United. But as you can see from the last couple of games, where he got a game, and then the next 2 games, he's been put on the bench. It looks like his future's bleak at Manchester United.
Yeah, I think I would have liked Zirkzee to stay and fight for us to get more game time, but it's looking like he's gonna have to leave now, whether that's on loan or permanent, to get more game time because we're only playing 1 game a week, and if we're playing 1 game a week and you're not really playing much, you're just gonna be rusting on the bench. And because it's World Cup year as well, he's going to want more game time so that he can hopefully get selected for the Netherlands squad. So I can see why he's probably thinking, as much as I want to stay and fight for my place at United, realistically, I need more game time. So maybe just get a 6-month loan, see how I get on, and then maybe the manager might get sacked and I might get a chance under a new manager and come back at the start of the 2026 season. But for me personally, he needs to push for that Roma loan because it's clear that the manager don't fancy him, and it's ironic that last season
He
when
was
we were
shooting.
playing against last season when we were playing against Newcastle, who were battering us at Old Trafford. They scapegoated Zirkzee and took him off. I think they took him off after like 26 minutes, and the fans were booing and stuff. And it's so ironic that we're playing Newcastle next on Friday, and it looks like Zirkzee is going to be on his way out. But it's sad to see. But we've only got ourselves to blame for not winning the Europa League. If we won the Europa League, we'll have more games and more competition. But it seems like players are just fed up of just rusting on the bench, and there's not enough games to go around. So I reckon, he needs to just get that move, get some game time, get some fluidity back in his game, or just be a bit part player for the second half of the season, because I don't see us doing much in the FA Cup. I think with the FA Cup, as soon as we draw someone In fact, we got Brighton, I think, in the third round.
What?
We could easily lose to Brighton in the FA Cup third round. Imagine we lose to Brighton and we're out. That means we would have been out in the first round in the Carabao Cup, in the first round in the FA Cup, and then we just got the Premier League. So he's already thinking, where am I going to get game time? So yeah, he needs to get that, see what rumour is saying, and he can see what do you call it, Hoyland in and McTominay when they're playing Napoli, and speak to them, just hang around with them, innit? Enjoy life in Italy for 6 months.
You know what, Jerome? It's kind of crazy because last season he preferred Zirkzee over Rasmus Højlund, and you would have thought yourself, okay, we signed a striker, our main striker is Šeško, but Zirkzee will be second striker, second option, coming in and out during the matches. Or one game Zirkzee starts, the other game Benjamin Šeško starts. They sub each other like for like substitution. I thought that was the plan, but with Ruben Amorim, he confuses me, man. He absolutely confuses me. When Zirkzee, he has to leave, because when you're the second striker and the first striker gets injured, you're still not getting a look in or game time. Yeah, you have to leave, because you thought you was going to be that guy that comes in when the injuries come, and the injuries came. Was playing false nine, and I was like, we have a striker. We don't need to play false nine. We actually have a striker. But hey, like it's sad. It's sad the fact that we've only this is his second season at Manchester United, and it didn't go well. You know, I can only blame Ericsson now for bringing him to the club. You know, spent so much money on a player that only scored 9 goals in Serie A, and not the complete striker. And and Zirkzee told you himself, I'm not a striker. I'm a 9.5. You see what I'm saying? This is mad. This is crazy. So I blame.
That was already a red flag. Like Zirkzee, as much as he's got some good qualities, for him to come to the club and say, I'm not a 9 or I'm not a 10, I'm a 9.5. Like, we need players to come here with conviction. This is my position. This is my position. I'm a number 9. Or I could do damage in a number 10 and stuff like that. Don't say I don't know. I'm not a 9 or a 10. I'm not this. I'm not that. Tell us what you are, sort of thing, and come with some conviction. And you can tell in his play, he's actually right. Like, because he doesn't score that much goals. He's got good link-up play and good touch and stuff. But obviously, we need goals, innit? And that's what predominantly we brought him in for. And maybe that's why they're probably thinking, you know what? Let's just stick with Šeško, who's the more natural finisher. But yeah, as I said before, just one game a week. And the fact that it doesn't seem like Amorim even knows his strongest 11. I couldn't tell you, like, week in, week out what it was going to be. And that's why we're being inconsistent, because the manager keeps chopping and changing. There's no settled 11. And there's no settled back 5 as well. And he keeps making defensive subs as well in defence, which is not helping. So the team's a mess at the moment. It's a team full of talent, but it's a mess. That's why we're getting all these inconsistent results and performances.
100%. Let me get back to the comments before we move on to Anton Semenyo. Big up to those who are watching. Make sure you smash that like button, share across all social media platforms. We're live on Wednesday for AFCON and for Ivory Coast, and then of course, freaking Friday, man, Boxing Day, Manchester United, prime time, 8 p.m. UK time for the world to see Manchester United lose at home at Old Trafford. I know what they're doing. I don't know why we're the only team. I know why we're the only team. They want everyone to laugh at Manchester United. You know, they just want the world to laugh. Yeah, they know what they're doing. It could have been any other day with the rest of the other teams, but we got to play alone. But yes, big up to Kira that says 40 million. Roma will bid 10 million and a turkey sandwich. United clearly don't want him. And of course, Kira says, I was watching Holland and McTominay right now live, and they're doing great. Zirkzee should leave. 100%, man. But let's move on to Antoine Semenyo. News have it that he's Manchester United. Antoine Semenyo could decide on a transfer coming from the Mirror today, which is likely not true. After Manchester United and Man City talks, of course, Semenyo's got a 64 million release clause for January, and also goes down in the summer for less money, roughly about 55 million. And he's made it clear after signing his new deal with Bournemouth this summer, with the release clause inserted that he would like to move on and go to bigger and better clubs. City signing him to me doesn't make any sense because they've got too many options. But Manchester United, with where Liverpool, he got racially abused. Let's not forget about that. Yeah, but Manchester United have been interested. They were interested in the summer as well. I think they probably would have waited for him if they didn't get Brian Mbeumo, because that took a while for it to be done. But your thoughts, man. Semenyo, you said it. Manchester United shouldn't be looking at wingers, but we are depleted right now with AFCON going. We should be looking at midfield, which I agree with you that we should. To be fair, we should be looking at both attacking and midfield. More on the midfield side, you know. In fact, you should be bringing two midfielders in and bringing an attacker in and a wing back. But we can't do everything in January.
Yeah, I think our club needs to stop making excuses because we saw over the past 3 seasons, Chelsea and Man City spent a lot of money bringing in a lot of players in January. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I think Man City spent about 100 M's last January.
Yeah, we just got the money out of nowhere.
Yeah, and that helped. Yeah, literally, they just because they were struggling. Man City, don't get me wrong, Man City was struggling last season.
Mm-hmm.
What they did, they just dipped into the January transfer window, got 2-3 players in, and then comfortably qualified in the top 3 or top 4. And 2 seasons prior, Chelsea were doing world record transfer fees in the January transfer window. So for us, I know midfield is our priority. And if they want to get Semenyo's a good player. I don't mind getting him, but I think we should be prioritizing our midfield. If we can get a midfielder in and Semenyo, then fair dues. But if it's just one that we can bring in this summer, this winter, then we need to prioritize midfield. 100%. I strongly believe that our midfield is our weakest area, 100%. Even weaker than our wing-back areas. 100%. Because we're just constantly getting run through every single. It doesn't even matter the opposition. Any team will run through our midfield. Even Wolves. Wolves scored against us, and they've been struggling to score against all other teams. So I'm just hoping that United use their common sense, and the board can see that we need to prioritize midfield to start controlling games instead of playing ping pong, because it just feels like it's just ping pong, just back and forth. That's why we're not getting consistent results, and then take it from there. If they don't feel that they've got midfield options that are available in January that will strengthen, that they feel that can strengthen the team long term, and they're not looking for short-term fix, then fair due, then wait to the summer and just see out this season and then get Semenyo. If that's their reason, fair enough. But if there is a midfielder that's available that can come in and strengthen the midfield in January, then bring them in ASAP.
Yeah. Even if it's a loan, just bring them in. Like I expect better from now that we have actual footballing men who are in charge of the football inside of Manchester United. I expect more from Berardi. I expect more from Jason Walker to actually identify this. And I remember in the summer, after we was told that Ruben Amorim was screaming for a midfielder, the Lieber, a midfielder that can press and do it all in that hybrid midfielder. But it's just they couldn't agree anything with Brighton. But you should have had your plan B. You know, if it's not Lieber, your plan C. You know, you can wait until next summer. Don't tell me we're going to wait until next summer and go into this season looking light in midfield. Like, it's unacceptable. You've lost players last season in that midfield area, and you've not replaced them. You know, and when we knew that Eriksen was leaving on a free transfer, excuse me, bring someone in. Why didn't you do that? You know, Ugarte is not good enough. You're not giving Manu opportunities to play, to develop. You're not doing any of this kind of stuff. We have ball carrying midfielders. You choose not to play him. You persist on Casemiro and Bruno Fernandes. And guess what? They're not all that. They're not doing all that in that midfield, you know. Yes, they get their goals there and there, and sometimes we can look like we're controlling the game, but we are not entirely controlling the game for 90 minutes. You know, we're not dominating those Bruno Fernandes, and I said this, as I think in that Europa League final, I said, yeah, this Bruno Fernandes and Casemiro midfield does not work for us. But he took it into the season and still doesn't work, in my opinion. People can say when Casemiro's not playing, we concede so many goals. That's nice. Yeah, when he's playing, we concede less goals. That's really nice. That's nice to hear. But it's not good enough. Yeah, it's not good enough with this Bruno Casemiro. It's just not good enough. You know, you don't give Ugarte the running. I'm not here to big up Ugarte and say that he deserves minutes, but you're not giving players the minutes for when they get called in. Yeah, they're not going to be ready. You can't just throw players in and you're not giving them minutes and expect them to be on the ball straight away in the deep end. No, no way. That's the problem. He didn't give Mainu minutes. He didn't give Zirkzee minutes for when he's get thrown into the deep end. He's had his minutes coming on for the bench or playing certain games to have an actual good impact. Each time he receives the ball, he looks rusty. You know, it took Zirkzee the second game to catch up to speed. Mainu will never catch up to speed because he hasn't started games. It's this manager, man. Before we end the show, I just want to ask you for your final thoughts, man. But it's disappointing. But Semenyo, I hope they go for him. But I really and truly, I want midfielders and a wing back. You know, but we can't get that all. But if they could sell some players, if they can get rid. But then again, I'm expecting the Glazers or Sergio Ramos to dip into your pockets and know that the situation that we're in is not good enough for us to reach our targets. Because Jerome, if your target is Champions League, and you're looking at the table right now and you say, this is our target, Champions League, or is it just Europe? Because it doesn't even look like we'll qualify for Europe if the way we're going.
Now, we're not qualifying for Europe.
Yeah, you're like, you know what? Man needs to dip into the pockets. I don't know if if it's a situation where I'm going to write in the books that Man United loan money from me with no interest, because Sergio Ratcliffe's got the money to back the chat, just that it needs to come. The club needs to make the money in order to spend. But I'm sure you can say, take a loan. You got 20 years to pay me back. No interest fee. You're the owner. Do what you like. Do what that Man City does and Chelsea do.
There's some workaround, yeah. There's definitely a workaround.
There's ways of bending the rules and making it work for you. They can do this. But they won't. Right now, it's time to be... I should be hearing Manchester United have agreed transfer deals for January. I shouldn't be hearing, Manchester United, it looks like going to be quiet during the January transfer window when we're not doing well in the league, in that one competition that we're in. We got knocked out in the Carabao Cup, not the third round draw, the second round.
Before the Premier League teams, before the other top Premier League teams.
Exactly. Second round. I didn't even know about second rounds until Manchester United played in the second. I'm like, before September started, when the third round starts, you know.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's embarrassing for United.
Never in my life have I seen that Man United in the second.
That just reminded us of our 15th place finish.
Sooner or later, we're going to be doing first round and second round qualifiers for the FA Cup if the way things are going under this manager. Yeah. But yes, Jerome, final thoughts before we end the show?
Yeah, so my final thoughts are with the Semenyo deal, I'll be happy if we get him, but I would definitely prefer us to get a midfield before we get him. If there's no midfield available, even on loan, if clubs don't want to sell or loan, midfield we feel that can strengthen our team, then bring Semenyo in and make do with what we've got. But even with what we've got, we should still be finishing at least 6th with what we got. But if we strengthen our midfield, then maybe we can push for the top 4. So yeah, that's my views on that. Looking forward to the Newcastle game. Not optimistic at all that we'll get a positive result. So if we do win, that'll be a pleasant surprise. But as of now, I see us losing, if I'll be honest with you. Because the manager, as I said, he doesn't know his strongest 11. And he doesn't seem to care too much about our midfield. So with that being said, I still think we're going to continue to leak goals against Newcastle. And because the world will be watching on Boxing Day, the pressure's going to be on. And if we lose that game, I'm struggling to see how they keep this guy on if we lose against Newcastle. Because that'll be like, 4 or 5 games without winning a game at Old Trafford. Mm-hmm. And on top of that, continuing to leak goals and just dropping down the table. Right now, I would say probably the last 2 results haven't affected our league position that much because other teams around us have been dropping points. But that loss to Villa has kind of given us more of a reality check now because we're now 10 points behind them. Yeah. So now the gap's kind of getting wider now. So losing against Newcastle, it's almost like, why are we keeping you? Because at the moment, we're just going to end up finishing 10th. And that's not good enough. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting Boxing Day night.
It is, man. Big up to everyone that's tuning in right now. Smash that like button. My final thoughts is, yeah, I'm tired of Amron. I've had enough. Those who still support the guy, you can support him. I've just had enough. I've had enough of everything. You know, you do these streams week in week out. You don't even enjoy it no more. You just do it for the sake of the fact that your face is there. You don't look like you quit. And then you got your ops trolling you that, oh, Ivorian Spice no longer does YouTube because of his team is so shit. He's hiding these days. You know, I just do it just to show face that I'm not a quitter. But really and truly, I'm not enjoying this. I just hope that Ivory Coast can bring me a bit of joy and not get knocked out too
Yeah, at
early.
least you've got the
As far as
AFCON to look forward
yeah,
to.
that's it is what it is.
Yeah.
AFCON. Big up to everyone that's tuning in right now. Hopefully, we're back on Wednesday for the AFCON Ivory Coast. 5:15. That will be up on the live streams soon. We've got, and then Friday, Boxing Day special for Manchester United to get piped by Newcastle at Old Trafford. We go live at 15 minutes before kickoff, which is at 7:45. As always, guys, remember this is available on playback and on your audio platforms such as Spotify, Amazon Podcasts, and also Apple Podcasts as well. It is what it is. It's your boy. It's just been your catch up. As always, love and peace. Remember to keep it united as much as you can, but most importantly, remember to keep it ready now. We are out. We'll see you next week, Monday. Peace.